Recently, news about Harry has heated up once again, making people especially interested in the news that Prince Harry is apparently worried about serious security risks after his return date to the UK was leaked. Alright, folks, please join me in updating more information and explaining this issue a little more clearly. So, the inadvertent publication of the date and the time of Prince Harry's appearance at the Invictus Games 10th anniversary service at St. Paul's Cathedral on May 8th on St. Paul's official website has been raising security concerns, and it's potentially jeopardizing his attendance. According to sources who spoke with the Daily Express, Prince Harry's team has emphasized the need to keep the precise date of his appearance confidential, especially in light of disclosures made in Harry's memoir Spare, where he talked about his military service and included the fact, or, well, he claims it was a fact, that he had killed 25 Taliban fighters in Afghanistan. Something tells me, though, that Harry himself probably leaked the info. He wants to get sympathy and also to get his security paid for by the taxpayers. I suspect that Harry is trying to get his security provided at no cost to him. That's what this is all about. Let's be real, the only risk to Harry's safety is going to be a few rotten tomatoes thrown in his face. And I would also think that the British law enforcement officials know what they're doing. They can calculate the risk that Harry is facing. He's just so paranoid. He's worried about all the wrong things. And you know what? The taxpayers already had to pay for his court case, arguing for what he believes he deserves when it comes to security. And if he ever wins that, it's going to cost a lot more, but I don't think he's going to win. I'm wondering too if this means that Harry is going to file suit against the church, or is he just trying to get more attention for himself as always and trying to get that IPP status back? Now, perhaps for his own security, he's not going to be allowed into St. Paul's Cathedral. Honestly, though, it couldn't have worked out any better. And if they really want to be safer, there are many ways to achieve that goal. They could just stay quiet. They could change the day. They could change the flight. It's not all that complicated. And maybe they should tell Meghan Markle that it's a different day and see if the information is leaked again. Maybe now Harry realizes how it feels when private information is leaked. I mean, why doesn't he just do a video call anyway? Why does he have to go there in person? So if he really is that worried for his safety, fine. He can stay in California. He doesn't need to go. He can just do a video call like what he did for Diana's anniversary. But see, Harry just loves the attention. He eats the publicity up. So he's the one making this into a big issue. So, Harry, if you're really so worried, pay for your own security. Use your own money. Or if you're still so concerned, then just stay away from the UK altogether. I don't believe the citizens are going to be upset by that. And I think you're going to be so much safer in California anyway, a state that's got at least 20 million guns, and that's not even counting the number of illegal guns. Maybe Harry should just stop traveling to Britain. That's one of his biggest reasons for leaving the UK anyway, and if he wants to come visit, then he can stay with his father, because then he'll get top-notch security. But he needs to stop whining like a crybaby. He's only wasting his inheritance money, and he's gonna lose as always. He just left the UK without thinking. He followed the advice of Meghan Markle, somebody who didn't understand what royal life is all about. So Harry made his bed, and now he's not happy to lie in it. Tough. And with the current situation with the southern border of the US, there could be more of a risk because honestly, who even knows who's crossing that border? One thing though is for certain the US doesn't know. Now, maybe they advertised it so that he wouldn't come. Though Harry has enough money to pay for his own security, he wants the British taxpayers to foot the bill. Another thing is the date and the location and the probability of Harry being there. That's been in the media for weeks now. Information about the event is not really that hidden on the St. Paul site. I mean, it's as hidden as I guess it can be, but it wasn't that difficult to find. And it only adds the time of the service to what is already known, and there's not even any mention of Harry. Harry's just going to use this need for secrecy to once again not bother to give anybody advance notice that he's coming. Because remember, the Home Office requires 30 days' notice of his planned visits to Britain, and this is going to be Harry's excuse for why he wasn't invited to stay at any royal properties when we all know the real reason. So he can stay at Soho House. That's a great idea. He's already informed the whole world in Spare that a back entrance is kept unlocked and unguarded, so I guess he can just slip in without anybody noticing. Harry also, I don't believe, ever goes to church, so why is he even invited? People despise him. The media shouldn't publish articles about his security demands. Other thing is, if they don't even publish the date and the time, how is anybody going to plan ahead so they can be there? Maybe he should just stay in the Olive Garden McMansion in Montecito. He'll be safe there, surrounded by his hired goons. Maybe he can even lock himself away in the safe room just for good measure. All of this is Harry's own fault. If Harry had not used his war stories to try to sell copies of that book, then he wouldn't need to be worried about his safety. And if he's scared, then he can just stay away from the UK altogether and stay with his family, including the invisible children in the US. Honestly, I don't believe he really took out that many Taliban members anyway. I'm sure he made it up. But, I mean, Taliban fighters are not known for being the brightest in the bunch, and they are hateful enough to consider that to be fact. And one of those people might use it as an excuse to try something, even though they themselves probably don't believe it. When is Harry going to realize, though, that the general public simply doesn't care about his petty little problems? He does need to be careful about the Taliban, though, because he bragged about killing members of their group. The only problem Harry has is that he's basically encouraged the Taliban to take his family out. Honestly, though, nobody's interested in Harry, and I think everybody would be happier if we never heard anything from him and Meghan again. Harry and Meghan, again, this is your own fault. If you had not crossed to the wrong side of the track all those years ago, then you wouldn't find yourselves in this mess. For future reference, remember that if you decide to lie down with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas. And as for Harry's security, he should just stay away from the UK. I guess he's just desperate to get some more royal gossip so he can sell it to the highest bidder. And what is he talking about? This big security risk. I think the main security risk for Harry is getting booed. And yeah, he is going to get booed. What business does he have delivering any kind of speeches from the pulpit of St. Paul's Cathedral? Clearly, Harry doesn't believe in Christianity. He's basically admitted that. He and Meghan and their immediate family members are never seen attending any serious Christian services, not even for Easter or for Christmas. Harry, why don't you just deliver your statements from your Sussex Royal website, and then you won't have to worry about your security. Harry is just trying to exploit the backdrop of St. Paul's Cathedral to say something like, "Oh, my mother, who walked into this cathedral on the day of her wedding, unsuspecting of the suffering that she would experience and of the doom that awaited for her because of that decision." Or what about my dear mother, whose funeral I still clearly remember? I was just a little boy, only 11 years old, and I had to walk behind her coffin in the service of the institution that never really protected her. Of course, neither of those statements are accurate, but again, it's Harry we're talking about. And honestly, I think they're just getting more content for the next PR release or miniseries or reality show or whatever it's going to be. This is simply for branding purposes. But any leak, I'm certain, came from Harry. He's trying to show the courts that he really needs the security, or he's trying to persuade his father to give him the security he wants. But I do not agree with that, unless, of course, kids are really there and not being hidden away anymore. Harry, though, can afford to pay for his own security people. And as for the visa, well, he said he exaggerated stuff in his book, like the drugs, that he didn't really use all those drugs. Come on then. And also, he claimed that, I guess we're supposed to believe that Harry didn't really kill those people anyway. He just exaggerated to make the book more interesting. So instead of being all worried about this information being leaked, Harry really needs to take care of his own security, and he and Meghan can stay in California. He can help Meghan with her new American Riviera project. Harry and Meghan need a serious reality check. They are not entitled to any kind of special security, and obviously that is something they do not comprehend. At this point, Harry is so unpopular, and he's only becoming more unpopular because he doesn't even really address things. What about the African Parks charity? How is he going to deal if Birmingham got bid for Invictus Games and Harry had to pay for his own security? I also disagree with even calling this a leak. It's one line announcing the time of service for the Invictus anniversary. That's not a leak. It's an event that many people are going to attend. Whoever considers this to be a leak needs to have their head checked. I'm sure that Harry can pay for security to cover him while he's there. He feels like he's so at risk when he comes to the UK, but he's not. Of course, we don't know what allegations are made, but I'm sure there is a mechanism through various channels to alert the authorities if he needs to do that. Harry is much like his uncle, the Duke of York, in the sense of entitlement. It's out of this world. And Harry apparently feels completely safe in California, where there's an incredibly high crime rate. I mean, so much higher than in the UK. But he's worrying about his security in the UK, where I think the biggest danger for him would be, again, Rotten Tomatoes thrown in his face or booing heard by his ears. And if Harry hadn't spoken about his military so called service, this wouldn't be a problem. But he wanted to do that. He wanted to make himself seem like such a tough guy. And now he expects to be treated differently with his security, even though he's not a working royal anymore. What about the risk that Harry has put other soldiers in thanks to all the drama that he stirs up? This is the main information and our analysis of the news that Prince Harry is concerned about serious security risks after his return date to the UK was announced. How do you feel about this issue? Please leave a comment to let us know.